Kwasi has been around since 1908, but until 2021, they did not have a haunt event. Terror at Kwasi has returned for the second straight year. This transforms Kwasi into one giant spook zone full of monsters roaming the Midway and 10 different houses. But how does this haunt stack up to the others in New England? Find out in this review. I want to note that this review will touch on the aspects that are different for Terror at Kwasi. I previously made a full review for the park during the other times of the year that you can go check out. Lake Compounce is located a half hour east of Kwasi, and for nearly 30 years, the park was home to the Haunted Graveyard Halloween event. This was home to my single favorite haunted walkthrough because it consisted of one super long haunt that was 45 to 60 minutes in duration. It was a stark contrast to most other parks where you'd wait upwards of an hour for just a 4 to 5 minute long haunt. The Haunted Graveyard was run by an outside company, and Lake Compounce announced the event would not return in 2021. Shortly thereafter, the graveyard owners reached out to Kwasi about moving their operation to the Middlebury Amusement Park. This led to Terror at Kwasi, but it's set up much differently than Lake Compounce's old haunt. Haunted Graveyard was an upcharge there. At Kwasi, all guests pay a flat $30 fee to enter the park as of 2022. This grants unlimited access to all the haunts and adult rides. All the kiddie rides are closed for the event though. The park is open from 7 p.m. to 11 p.m. for the event. I visited on a Friday night during a holiday weekend no less, and that was more than enough time to experience all the haunts, shows, and rides I wanted to. I did not have to wait for anything. In fact, I sort of wish the park was a little busier. Let me explain. One of the most unique things about this haunt is the entire Midway is one giant scare zone. There are dozens of scare actors just roaming the pathways. Because the park was so quiet, I could see most of them coming from a mile away. It would have been so much scarier in a fuller crowd because they'd blend right in until right on top of you. But some, like Michael Myers, still stealthily came up from behind to scare people. I really liked this aspect of the event. It gave it a unique flavor. Now maybe the haunt is busier on a Saturday night, but I didn't see queue lines set up outside the houses, so I suspect those are walk-ons most days. That's quite the contrast to most haunts where you'll encounter sizable lines. Kwasi features 10 houses. These are spread out throughout the park. It is a bit of a scavenger hunt to find them all. Most of them are temporary structures, but they're pretty nondescript with minimal signage and queues. I often wasn't sure which part of the building was the entrance or exit, especially because again there were 0 lines to wait in or walk through. Most are on the main Midway with the rides, but a few are back by the lake, which was actually a really chilling place because of how quiet it was. Others are over in the picnic area. Unfortunately, I missed Clown House because I didn't realize it was back there, but I did all the others in the park. Now these houses are way shorter than your typical ones. The longest ones are roughly a minute long, and quite a few are just 15 to 20 seconds in duration. And I think this approach is brilliant given this park's audience. Kwasi is a family park first and foremost. This is not a place you typically see clusters of adults or teenagers hanging out. While Terror at Kwasi is clearly not meant for toddlers given how the kiddie rides are closed, it's still meant for families, and this setup makes it digestible for someone's first haunt. The short houses allow kids to dip their toes. If they don't like it, the house is over in a flash, and they can also take long breaks in between. If you are used to Lake Compounce's Haunted Graveyard, know the scares are dialed way back on this one, even though it is the same creative company. You'll see similar themes, but the scares are less plentiful and intense. Now I'll give an overview of the houses. I'll talk about them in increasing order of scariness or intensity. Endless Hallway and Infinity Hallway consist of a single corridor. There are no scare actors in there. You just hear heartbeats playing, and it plays a bit on claustrophobia. Misty Walkway is a room with smoke and lights so you cannot see below your neck. I love this effect and I've seen it throughout the years at other haunts. It's really suspenseful because scare actors usually pop up. That didn't happen for me at Kwasi though. Graveyard feels more like a queue line than a full-on haunt. You have to pass through the area to reach the Catacombs haunt. But it is very atmospheric and there are some playful scare actors. Demons of Darkness is another long hallway, but this one does have a single scare actor that'll lunge at you suddenly. 3D House is a single room full of disorienting polka dots, but there is one loud scare actor who will get in your face and scream. The final 3 are the lengthier haunts. These are the ones I enjoyed the most. Zombie Hospital is a bloody walkthrough. This has the most morbid visuals, but the jump scares are not quite as intense as the remaining two houses. Catacombs is the best use of music and had several silent actors who would follow you throughout. It was a really weird dynamic. Just note that this one takes place on a muddy field, so watch your steps going through it. Dungeons was the most intense haunt. The jump scares were the most sudden and the loudest. This was my favorite haunt by far for this reason. Then there are two shows to experience. One is the human pincushion, who pierces herself with needles and staple guns. This one was just okay. It was more of a gimmick in my opinion. The better of the two is the magic show. The magician has a great stage presence, and there are some neat tricks, including the balancing one towards the end. Then you have a good chunk of Quasi's rides available. It's pretty rare to get to experience this park after nightfall, so it's cool seeing the lighting packages on all the flat rides. Reverse Time is the best flat ride if you love spinning rides, as it bobs up and down and forces you outwards. Then Frantic is the park's most intense ride, as it's a tiny inverting SBF frisbee that offers a disorienting experience with nearly 24 flips full of hang time. But the star attraction is Wooden Warrior. This little Gravity Group wooden roller coaster offers nice airtime on every hill. The largest drops are particularly impressive in the back row, as you're catapulted upwards. It's a much wilder ride than you'd expect for a ride of its size, and I talk about it more in a separate review. And it's neat getting to try it with minimal lighting on much of the course. The only lights are ironically inside the tunnel, which is typically the darkest part. Last but not least, the park does offer some special food items in their main restaurant. I'm not a big fan of alcohol or sweets, so I cannot comment on the quality of these. So do I recommend Terror Quasi? I think it depends. This is a good introductory haunt for kids. The short, broken up haunts allow them to build up courage and test how they do in a more conventional haunted house. And then you have a family-friendly ride lineup too to complement that. Teenagers and adults will likely prefer some of the area's longer and more intense haunts. That being said, I still enjoyed the event at Quasi. The 3 longer haunts were fun, and I liked how the scare actors roamed every inch of the park. Plus, I'll never complain about having a Wooden Warrior marathon. 2 other advantages of this haunt are the crowds and value. Lake compounds and Six Flags New England can get hour-long lines for their haunted walkthroughs. Halloween is arguably the busiest time period for these 2 parks. Quasi had no lines for the rides or houses. Then, for one single price, you can enjoy the rides and haunted attractions. Some of the region's other parks make the houses an upcharge. Then houses not affiliated with theme parks typically only let you experience them once, and that's all you get for your money. You don't have any other rides or attractions. So those are my thoughts on Terror at Quasi, the relatively new haunted house at this Middlebury, Connecticut amusement park. Have you been to this event? Let me know how you think this event compares to the other New England ones in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this review, I'd appreciate it if you gave this video a like, and you considered subscribing, because there'll be a lot more roller coaster and amusement park videos here at Canopy Coaster. Thanks for watching.